Why could a ship sail through endless blue water and still run out of safe water in days? How did pipes, pressure, and boiling metal beat an enemy no gun could kill? And why did a humming machine deep below deck become one of the most important weapons of the war without firing a shot? You're about to hear how World War II sailors turned seawater, steam, and chemistry into something you could actually drink, and what happened when they couldn't. Let's begin. The machine that kept ships alive. Every major World War II naval ship carried a miracle in its engine room. The distilling plant, commonly called an evaporator. Simple in theory, but brutal to master, the evaporator's work could be summarized in 4 words: evaporate, condense, store, disinfect. But this wasn't like boiling a kettle at home. Producing gallons of drinkable water required precise control of heat, pressure, and machinery, along with constant attention from machinist mates and engineers who rarely saw daylight. On a warship, water production was as critical as ammunition storage. Without it, a ship wasn't just thirsty, it was dead in the water. The evaporator turned seawater into life itself, and the men who tended it were guardians of survival, operating under sweltering heat, pounding engines, and constant vibration. They managed valves, watched gauges, adjusted temperatures, and ensured that every drop of water could safely reach mess halls, infirmaries, and canteens. But before a drop could reach a sailor's cup, it had to survive the first challenge: leaving the salt behind. Leaving salt behind. Reverse osmosis and modern desalination didn't exist yet. Every drop of seawater had to be transformed through brute force steam and heat. Seawater was drawn from the ocean and heated with steam from the ship's boilers. At a precise combination of pressure and temperature, the water flashed into vapor, leaving behind the salt, minerals, and microbes in scalding brine. This stage saved countless lives. Salt cannot be filtered with cloth, nor killed by simple chemical treatment. It only responds to heat. One miscalculation could produce vapor that either failed to remove enough salt or damaged pipes, reducing output. Engineers had to balance this delicate system constantly. Every hour, the evaporator converted hundreds of gallons of seawater into life-saving freshwater, and every malfunction risked dehydration, illness, and mission failure. It was technology as a weapon in a war no one saw. Once salt was left behind, the next step was to bring the vapor back down to a drinkable form, turning vapor back to water. The vapor then traveled into coils cooled by seawater running through external pipes. As it condensed, it became soft, clean water, but not yet guaranteed safe. This newborn water flowed into storage tanks, ready for chemical treatment before reaching mess halls and canteens. Below deck, the ship became a floating water factory. Engineers monitored temperature differentials, flow rates, and coil efficiency, while machinists kept pressure steady. Hundreds of gallons of water were produced quietly, while above, sailors watched for enemy planes, fired guns, and manned lookouts. The ocean was turned into drinkable water mile after mile, silently sustaining life and combat readiness. But condensation alone wasn't enough. Even pure water needed protection before it reached a thirsty sailor's mouth. Store and disinfect. Even after distillation, water wasn't completely safe. Microbes could creep back in through old pipes, warm tanks, or careless handling. That's why ships relied on chemical disinfectants like liquid chlorine or hypochlorite. It was a delicate balance. Too little, and crews became sick. Too much, and sailors refused to drink. Engineers and medics worked together, testing residual chlorine and monitoring tanks. Every cup in the mess hall, every canteen filled for a soldier on watch, depended on their vigilance. Safe water was not just a convenience, it was a matter of survival, influencing morale, mission readiness, and the outcome of entire operations. But even safe water could become useless if the machinery and pipes became clogged with scale, a constant, invisible enemy. The invisible war against salt. Salt is relentless. Evaporators left thick mineral scales on pipes and coils. Too much scale reduced output, threatening lives above deck. Engineers chipped, flushed, and scraped metal day and night, working in rooms without sunlight, heat, or fresh air. Their labor was invisible but critical. Scale could choke the evaporator, reduce water production, and render tanks unsafe. Every check, every scrape, every logged reading mattered. Sailors upstairs depended entirely on this invisible, exhausting battle against metal and mineral deposits. It was not glamorous, and it rarely earned praise, but it was the quiet foundation that kept fleets hydrated and operational across oceans. Even with the best maintenance, though, failures could and did happen. When it broke people. A ship without water is a coffin with a propeller. Combat damage could crush feed lines, fouled boilers reduced output, and a jammed evaporator turned showers into a luxury, drinking into rationing. On long patrols, particularly aboard submarines, failures meant days of suffering. Sailors lived sticky, thirsty, and exhausted, sometimes forced to survive on mere cups of rationed water per day. Without distillation, there was no fight, only drift. Discipline weakened, morale collapsed, and the simplest tasks became impossible. Every malfunction reminded crews that survival depended on technology, skill, and vigilance as much as courage. Even small errors in the water system could ripple through the ship, affecting combat readiness, health, and life itself. And even if machinery held, sailors still hoped for one natural gift: rain. Rainwater was the free ally of the ocean, collected in stretched canvas, funnels, and helmets. No salt, no fuel cost. Ships in the Pacific often prayed for storms, watching clouds like treasure maps, hoping to capture fresh water from the sky. But rain was unpredictable. Even the cleverest collection systems couldn't meet all needs. First rainfall was dirty, washing away dust, salt, and bird droppings before collection could begin. Crews called it letting the ship bathe. Every storm was a chance to replenish tanks, but sailors still rationed, knowing their survival depended on a careful combination of distillation, conservation, and ingenuity. Rain was a gift they could not order, only prepare for. And when rain failed, desperation forced sailors to think even more creatively. Emergency tricks. When distillers failed and rain didn't come, desperation forced innovation, but never beyond the limits of physics. Sailors knew one unbreakable truth: seawater could not save them. Boiling it didn't purify anything. It only drove off fresh water they couldn't capture and left the remaining liquids saltier. And no chemical tablet on the ship could make ocean water drinkable. Those treatments worked only on fresh water, never the sea. So the crew turned to the resources they could trust. They rationed what fresh water they had left, shrinking daily intake to single cups or even smaller. Purification tablets were used sparingly, reserved for questionable fresh water from canteens, tanks, or pipes, never seawater. Every batch was checked by color, smell, and taste, stretched as far as caution and chemistry allowed. When the evaporators failed completely, the ship shifted into true emergency mode. Deep in storage compartments were the backup lifelines, freshwater drums and sealed canisters kept specifically for situations like this. Crews broke them open only when both the distillers and the heavens refused to help. They also reused what little they could. Slightly contaminated utility water, never seawater, could be disinfected and made marginally safe. It wasn't pleasant, but it kept men alive when the alternative was thirst. These were the last resorts, used only until the distillers could be repaired or the next rain spell swept across the decks. In moments like these, survival depended on discipline and steady nerves. Every sip mattered. Every decision carried weight. Veterans often talk about water the way they talk about fuel or food. Not exciting, but absolutely essential. A ship could keep going with damaged guns or worn-out engines, but without clean water, the crew was in real trouble. Down in the lower decks, machinists, engineers, and medics handled the unglamorous jobs like scraping scales off pipes, fixing leaks, checking chlorine levels, and making sure every gallon was safe to drink. Their work kept everyone running, from the smallest submarines to the biggest carriers. Most of the time, no one noticed when everything worked smoothly. But when something went wrong with the water system, the whole ship felt it immediately. Turning seawater into drinking water wasn't luck. It was steady, careful effort, boiling, condensing, treating, and protecting it mile after mile. In the end, a ship wasn't just powered by engines or weapons. It was powered by the people who kept its water clean,